Hi, in this episode, we're going to talk about what to expect going into the new year 2020. So, what'd you think of 2019?
Well, we're coming to the end of it. 2019 was a 3-year, and in astrology to numerology, they kind of go together. And so that would be like a Gemini energy in astrology. And so I get the sense that people were kind of like all over the place, not knowing what direction to go into. I get the sense when people went down the rabbit hole, they went all the way down the rabbit hole. And if they didn't and they were trying to construct, they worked more on building their lives. It kind of went either way. But I get the sense that people are very confused this year. And we can see that a lot of events going on in the world will create that kind of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. We look at climate, we think, these things come out of nowhere now, and I get an anxiety, okay? So, but I'm gonna say going into 2020, we're moving into a 4-year. And 4 is the opposite. 4 is stabilizing, foundations.
Yay.
And it represents process and stability. So those things have to come together. I'm actually myself, 4 is my life number. And so I have very strong issues. It'll be a very powerful year for me for that reason, and because I'll relate to the energy. And the energy is about, what you want to create, that you create a foundation, you create a stable base from which to operate from and work on. 4s have this tendency to skip steps because they want to get to something right away. And so I did that a lot in my life. I moved all the time and trying to figure out where I belong. My whole life was like, for about 25 years, a 3, and then I turned into a 4 in my mid-40s. And so now I know what it feels like to be a 4 because I came in with no energy showing that I needed to work on it. And it also represents family. Home is foundation, which is family. So 4s, because it would be like Cancer energy, you see? So probably a lot of family issues going on this year. And so things that, you're working with in the family dynamics are going to try to resolve themselves at some point. So, but astrologically, it's going to be Pluto and Saturn coming to its total conjunction in Capricorn. This is a very serious energy and a very serious year. You can tell that we're coming up on a very transformative year with the planet of transformation tied to the planet that represents structure and discipline with the planet that rules it in Saturn, in the sign that it rules is Capricorn.
Well, it's also going to be interesting because on more of a global look, America is Cancer.
Yes.
It's a Cancerian energy. We were founded on the 4th of
July. Yes.
So it's going to be interesting. How would those signs, aspects that are going to be happening, perhaps impact the energy of the country?
This country will be very the focus of world events, obviously, and you can tell about our politics. We're going into a shift and change in politics. And so there's a lot going on, obviously, and we're not going to get political.
Right.
But Saturn and Capricorn rule government. So, and then Pluto's asking for it to transform in some way. Now, we don't know what way that is. And so that's the problem with anything that's going through shifts and change. We fear change. We fear the unknown. And we can tell it's going on in a big way. And the world's watching us right now because we are in opposition to this energy.
Well, we also tend to lead. So they're watching us to see what happens here, to know what they can accomplish in their own countries. I say get your popcorn, kids. This is going to be an interesting year. Buckle up. All right.
Capricorn and Saturn represent building. So again, this is like if you're wanting to start a new business, if you're wanting to, essentially not happy where you live and you want to change that, it's like this is the year to make those big decisions where you want to build something and not destroy it, because the opposite of building is to destroy. So if there's something that needs to be destroyed so you can rebuild, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business or whatever it looks like, something that's so endings because it needs to transform, that means there's going to be some strong deaths of your lifestyle maybe, and then rebirth into something very new. But you've got the whole year to play this out, but it's going to be intense.
I wonder if the Cancerian energy is going to create more marriages and babies. I wonder.
Well, if you're building a family, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I think when I feel Cancer energy, it makes me want to be around the people I love. I get kind of sentimental, a little crabby, but mostly I just want a group of people around me, which I normally don't. and I want to feed them.
Yes, you do.
So I hope that it does encourage people to try and stop controlling every aspect of your life. Fall in love. It's called that for a reason, because we have no control over the fall. So don't be so afraid of what's out there. I think people have a lot of anxiety and fear. They're like, what if I get hurt? I think we have a generation that's more worried about, they're worried about failing. They're worried about what people will say on social media. Live your life. Don't worry about those things. None of the people out there will matter in your future, so don't let them dictate where you go.
Well, that's a good point. Dictate, someone else dictating to you, because with the strong Capricorn Saturn energy that we're going to be dealing with, it rules authority figures. It rules the father, and Cancer ruling the mother. So there'll be issues around parents, obviously, but do you own your own authority? Are you giving it away to someone else to run and rule your life? That needs to change. Anybody out there that's very unhappy in their life, feeling destructive or self-destructive because they're not in charge of their life the way they want it, this is the year to make this happen.
That's exciting. I think the energy is going to be a lot better. I think 2019 was an important year, but it was not that 2020 will be less exhausting. I can't believe we're saying 2020. This is not okay with me yet. But 2019, people just lost their minds, and it was hard to keep up with everything going on in the world and just in life in general. And we have 2 girls graduating college, and our life's about to get easier. So there's a transformation for Joe and I.
You look at Fallon's already started, just got a new job, starting a career right out of college.
So proud of her.
That's a new year for Fallon.
And do you see the contrast between how, well, the economy's so much better right now, just so you know, it really is. But Gen Z, they're going right into the workforce.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really excited to see what they're going to do too.
Yeah.
Well, 2020 is going to be something to watch for sure.
It'll be newsworthy.
It'll be newsworthy, and sometimes maybe shut it off because a lot of it doesn't really go anywhere, and it ratchets people up and they get upset. And watch what you can process and what you can handle. If you can't handle what's going on out there, let other people handle it for right now, and you can check back in. But 2020 is actually a year to get excited about. I hope you do. I hope you take some love risks. And those of you that have been afraid to have a family, I hope you just realize there's never going to be a perfect time. Life is messy. Get messy. The chaos can be fun. And just look forward to something new and say goodbye to 2019. As we leave 2019, though, I think it's important, especially going into these aspects, to impress. Be very mindful to not self-destruct. Don't be destructive with the drinking and the holidays. I see spikes in suicides around the holidays, spikes in passings and drug overdoses. I'm bringing through way too many people dying of fentanyl, and I'm just saying be mindful of what you're putting in your body over the next couple of months as we leave that 3-year, because a lot of people are looking for that grand swan song at the end. So stay focused on your future and be hopeful, and don't give in to the winter mood of sadness. And if you are alone, reach out to other people who maybe don't have anyone to spend the holidays with, and spend it together. Watch movies and play board games, but there's no reason anybody has to be alone, not in this day and age. So do something good for the world and reach out and find somebody to be a friend with or to love, and thank a veteran and do all the good things we're supposed to do, not just on Christmas, but all the days leading up to it, and be your best self. So thank you, Tom, for your insight. Brilliant.
Thank you, Allison.
As usual. And thank you for joining us for this segment. And I hope that you will like and subscribe.